Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to LeTip Live. LeTip is an organization of like-minded individuals coming together to help each other's businesses and to grow together. And today we have a very special guest. We have Steve Wulin, and we were just talking off camera about a bunch of stuff, and we decided it would be great to share that stuff with you guys. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, let's introduce Steve Wulin. Steve, how are you?
Yes, doing great. Doing great, Doug.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us. Thank
Pleasure.
you for stopping by and
Pleasure.
visiting us today. Let's dive right into it.
Yeah.
So, it was getting pretty, not like heated, but you were definitely dispelling a lot of rumors.
The walls were perspiring. You can't normally say that about a conversation about life insurance.
Yes. So we'll start easy.
talking.
Yes, we'll start. Now you're warmed up. We'll start with some easy ones. First off, like which company or brand of life insurance do you?
Well, I'm with Prudential.
Okay.
But Prudential has very many insurance company partners, all
Uh-huh.
A-rated companies. So we have access to a ton of different companies depending on the situation. No one company is always best all the time, but we don't want to lose business because there's one particular company out there that's going to be right for that particular client.
Gotcha. All right. So the easy question's out of the way.
Yeah.
So here's the question that'll probably take us the majority of this time. So all over social media, I'm not lying. I just showed you about 10 minutes ago in the other studio. I was showing you all this life insurance rumors going around, and one of the rumors and one of the premise that I've been seeing a lot of, or that people are saying, it's good to get a life insurance policy, then you can loan against it and buy a car, buy a home with your life insurance policy. Basically, and another term that they like to use a lot is become your own bank or infinite banking. So I'm guaranteed if you follow or you're watching any kind of financial tips or whatever on TikTok or Instagram, this is definitely popped up on your feed. So Steve, is it a good idea to get a life insurance policy, loan against it, buy a car with it, and then pay yourself back? Is that even a thing?
Well,
What's going on here?
I think everybody should sell all their assets, put all their money into life. No. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding.
Mm-hmm.
There's good things and bad things,
Mm-hmm.
Not so good things about the concept of having cash value life insurance. I've been in the insurance business, I hate to admit this, 50 years. And the number one reason for life insurance is to have life insurance,
Mm-hmm.
to provide for those who are dependent on it. A typical scenario, a couple are married, they got a couple kids, they're working hard. Well, you want to make sure that survivors can go on.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about what you're talking about, having a cash value, building it up. Is that the best idea, or is that the main reason why somebody should take out permanent life insurance?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's look at the advantages and what you'll hear on the internet. Yes, if you have cash value building up in a policy, it generally builds up cash, tax deferred.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they may say tax free, which in most cases is true. If you take a loan against it, you get the money out without paying taxes on it.
Mm-hmm.
If you die, the whole death benefit is tax free.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say if your main objective is to have a vehicle where you can build up money and be your own bank and borrow against it,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't have a need for life insurance, I can't see the wisdom in doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, last week I was on a phone with a woman who had taken out a $500,000 life insurance policy with us a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I want to buy some more real estate. I want to buy a couple of houses. What about taking a loan against my policy? Well, after a short conversation, it became clear she was under the impression that, well, if I have a $500,000 life insurance policy, maybe I could borrow $500,000 from that, or even $300,000-$400,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the way it works. You don't get a loan based on the face amount of the policy. If your policy says when you die, there's $100,000 there, you're not going to be able to take a loan for $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
The loan is based on the cash value that may be in the policy at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I could almost, I could almost guarantee you, if you took out a $500,000 policy today, a whole life policy, a permanent policy, and premiums are high, you're not going to be able to take a loan of $500,000 a year from now.
So let's clear this up, right? Because this is a good spot. So this lady, she had a policy for 500,000, but how many years and how much value did that already have?
Well, she had it for 1 year.
So she had it for 1 year. The max is in the thousands to put in per year, right? How much can you put in per year?
This is I'm using this as an example, but this is not a person who took out a variable life or universal life or whole life.
Mm-hmm.
She took out term insurance.
Yeah.
And the reason why, her objective was to take care of her 3 sons.
Mm-hmm.
She owned a house with a mortgage, and single mom. If she died, she wanted to make sure the money was there for the kids to live in the house.
Yeah.
So we did it with term insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Term insurance premiums are extremely low compared to permanent policies.
Okay.
And if a person, they're not rolling in dough, she works hard. If you could take out a huge policy and monthly premiums are less than you might spend at Starbucks, that could be the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I talked to her about this, talking about cash value life insurance. So, well, yeah, you could do it. It's going to cost you maybe $600 a month, but you're not going to have enough in there to take a loan to buy a house in a couple of years. It's just not the way it works.
So then, wait,
Now,
sorry to interrupt you. So let's slow down. So she takes out this policy. She puts in $600 a month.
She took out a permanent.
Yeah, let's just this hypothetical. She takes out. She has a policy. The policy is technically worth $500,000 death benefit. She doesn't have access to that right now. She's putting in $600 a month.
Well, there's a whole. Put it to the side. There are some living benefits. Let's
Okay.
talk about that in a minute. But let's talk about what you're talking about.
Let's just unpack this. She's putting in $600 a month into this in policy.
Yes.
At the end of the day, death benefit is $500,000, but what she has access to today, if she wanted to do something, is nowhere near $500,000 because she's on this for a year at $600. She's sitting at Where
did their money go? Some of the money went to cover death claims.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it went to expenses, including taxes.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it went into a reserve. On a permanent policy, this is the key.
Yeah.
That policy says, if you're 120 years old, we're going to cover you. Generally,
Mm-hmm.
that's how they work.
Yeah.
So the insurance company says, well, we have to have a reserve of money to pay death claims.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is. Now, in a universal life policy, the money can get invested, and that reserve can grow. But the impression, like what you were showing me on social media, I think it gives a wrong impression.
Absolutely. The impression is, and I'm telling you, you guys type in life insurance in an Instagram or TikTok, and you just look at the top posts. Literally, there's thousands of posts of people saying, take out a life insurance policy, be your own bank, infinite banking. You put in $5,000 for this life insurance policy is the max you could put in per year. And you can take a car loan out, and instead of paying the bank back, you pay yourself back. But it doesn't make sense.
Let me ask you a question. Now, You've seen the advertisements on social media.
Mm-hmm.
You're not a licensed agent. That is not your thing. But what was the impression that you got? If they said, look, it's $5,000 a year, put this in. And what was your impression? How much cash should you have in there a year from now or 2 years? What was the impression that was given?
The impression that was given is that I could take out a policy for $300 a month and buy a car with it. That's the impression that I was being given. And I'm glad that you're here to dispel it because it's being pushed. A lot of people are saying this on social media, like it's the trick of the rich. All the rich people, they're taking out life insurance policies and they're using it when they're alive, not when they're dead.
Yeah, that's how Donald Trump. No, that's not. Elon Musk. No. Look, here's if you want to protect yourself,
mm-hmm.
it's a simple thing to do. If an insurance agent suggests this type of thing,
mm-hmm.
they should give you a proposal showing cash values. Now, if it's a variable universal life policy, to say those words, we got to give you a prospectus too, because it's controlled by the SEC. But if you get that proposal, look at all the columns, and you're going to see, well, this is the death benefit if I die. Here's the contract fund. That's the reserve of money.
Okay.
And then there's a cash value column. Now, the contract fund at some point in the future may say $3,000, but if you surrender, maybe you're only going to get $1,800. Because if you surrender in the early years, usually 7, 10, 15 years, there is a charge against that. But hey, this is nowhere near something that's going to make sense to buy a house.
To buy a house or even a car.
Even a car, yeah. Now, that being said, it is an easy way, can be a convenient way. If you're really in a jam and you want to borrow money and you can't wait, you could do that. And it is not taxable. However, I've seen people who have had permanent policies for many years. They take out a loan. They don't think about it. They don't pay it back because nobody's really bugging them to pay it back. Well, that can become like a form of financial cancer in that policy. That loan could get so big that it's going to exceed the cash value. And you know what happens then?
They take everything.
The policy lapses. Gone. Now, somebody may say, well, I got my money. I don't care. The usual scenario with that kind of thing, however, is that all the money you took out is then taxable. You're going to get a 1099. And I've seen people with policies where maybe they had a $100,000 loan and the taxable amount was maybe $50,000, $60,000. Now, how would you feel if you get a 1099? Hey, you got to pay taxes on this $50,000, $60,000. So if you do take a loan, it should be with the idea that you are going to pay it back, and it's very easy not to pay it back.
Yeah, so we'll name her Sally.
Sally.
Let's go back to Sally.
Yeah.
She takes out this policy, $500,000. Let's just say she miraculously figured out a way to pull out this money, get a loan for a car or house or whatever. And then she never pays it back and then passes. She's not getting
scenario.
Okay.
That's a different scenario.
Okay.
Let's say Sally's had this policy for 10 years.
Okay.
Car blows up. I need money. I'll take a policy loan. Maybe it's 5%. I don't go to the bank and cut. So she does that.
Okay.
The loan is there. She forgets about it. It grows in interest. Sally dies. The insurance company says, well, okay, you had, what was it? $500,000 policy.
Yeah.
You had a $20,000 loan. We're going to give you beneficiary $480,000.
Gotcha.
Tax-free. Death benefit's tax-free.
Gotcha.
But let's say Sally lives a long time. This loan becomes humongous. And insurance company says, if you don't pay this loan, it's going to lapse. Sally says, well, you know what? I don't really need a life insurance. Kids are grown. Mortgage is paid. It's got to be, I can't even cash it in because the loan's so big. I let it go. Then she's going to get the 1099 from the IRS. Because the IRS says, you know what? You took all this money out. It's more than what you paid in. That's going to be income for you.
Gotcha.
It's protected if you die, but in the other scenario.
Gotcha. All right. Good stuff. Well, we are live. So if you guys have any questions out there on the interwebs, we're live.
You said this is live.
Oh, yeah, we're live. Steve, give me a heart attack. So we are live. I hope you were like, we just got you in big trouble. So you are live. If you are watching and you have any questions, comments, concerns, please put them in the comments section. We can answer them live with you today with the life insurance guru himself, Steve Wulin.
I'm not a guru, but the other thing we did mention other living benefits, and there are some very significant benefits, mainly to do with people who have chronic illness.
Yeah, let's. Who should? What is it? So that was the ways you shouldn't use life insurance. That's like being proper guys. But what are the main reason? What should you be doing?
It's great to have cash value. It's great to know it's going to build up. But if that's the primary reason, and there's no reason for life insurance, I question it. You got to think twice.
Gotcha.
Why am I doing this? Things are going to change in the future. But if you're going to live a long time, and many people do live a long time, what happens is it's like driving an old car. You wear out. And if a person gets to the point where they have to go to assisted living, a nursing home, there are benefits that could be added to the policy. Chronic illness rider, which says if a person needs help in 2 of 6 activities of daily living, you can tap into the death benefit. If you took out a $500,000 policy today, and a year from now you're in a bad car accident, you need chronic care.
Yeah.
Not just going to the hospital, going to get you. That's it. You need chronic care daily, going to the bathroom,
Mhm.
dressing, changing it all. Some of these riders will say, oh, okay, we will give you 20% of the face value of the policy every month, 10 grand a month for care. Okay. Now, I don't want to get into too many details. Well, it's an accident, you need a doctor, a lawyer, because that's covered a lot of times by other things. But
Can we go back? Look, can we use Sally?
Poor Sally. Yeah,
Poor
she
Sally.
got very
She
old.
didn't. Yeah, she got very old.
She was 89.
She's 89.
Kid said, "Mom, you're getting lost in the backyard."
Had 500,000 policy. Yeah. Got it all up, but then you know what? She broke her hip and now has to be in assisted living. Yeah. So poor Sally.
And then
so
mine's gone.
Mine's going. She can't take care of herself.
What do we do?
She has to spend, let's just say, easy $5,000 a month for this assisted living place that she's going to be in now. At the end of the day, it can be taken out of this policy, but is it taken out when she passed? So the $500,000 policy, is she just using that? And let's just say for 3 years, she's in this assisted living home for $5,000 a month. She racks up $50,000 and builds this assisted living home. That's just deducted from her $500,000.
Right. That's really like a prepayment.
So she could evaporate that. If she lived for 20 years in assisted living.
But if she lives 20 years in assisted living, where's the money going to come from?
Exactly.
Where's the money going to come from? There's an interesting side story that I don't want to get into because we'd be here all day. As far
you could put it on Sally again.
No, Sally wouldn't fit. But anyway, that's.
But I'm in that kind of we don't have to get personal stories and whatever, but with families. But I'm kind of in a similar situation where we're trying to figure out what's the best options for relatives and family members and stuff.
Sure.
Because like you said, where's the money going to come from?
Yeah.
These retirement homes, these assisted living homes are not cheap.
And all the emotional and financial stress that goes with that, you want to cut down on some of it. Years ago, we were selling a lot of long-term care insurance, which is probably the best product for that one need. However, if you have a long-term care policy and you live 20 years and you don't use it and you step in front of a Mack truck, basically the premiums are gone. If you have a chronic care rider of that type on a life insurance policy and you don't need it for chronic care, you still have the death benefit. You still have cash value growth in there. I started to mention to you before, several years ago, 2 guys, Wall Street guys, they had their own firm in Wall Street. They wanted to have cash value life insurance to protect some of those assets. Now, these are professional investors.
Yeah.
They know they can make a lot of money investing, but their concern was where they were at. If somebody tried to sue them, they wanted to at least sock away some assets in a place where it was very difficult to get. And one of those places was life insurance.
Gotcha.
So they realized, plus I had families, there was a need for the whole life insurance by itself too.
It's great stuff. We're learning a lot here on LeTip Live, which you guys can participate at home if you want to put a question, comment, concern in the comment section. We could answer it live here.
I think in any discussion of life insurance, half the people are asleep.
I think this one, I think this
Allen,
video is a little bit more lively. I think is more entertaining.
What Woody Allen said, is like, a person who doesn't know torment never spent an hour with a life insurance agent.
Wulin a funny man. Funny man.
One of my favorite funny men.
So what else is new? What else? I mean, we learned a lot here right now.
In a wild world of insurance?
Yes, we learned a lot here. I mean, I was thinking about maybe getting a policy, but for different reasons than I'm actually supposed to be getting a policy for. But I'm glad that you dispelled that because I was like, I'm going to need a car soon. My car is sitting at the body shop right now with Robin, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should get a new car and be my own bank and pay myself back.
Ford Fusion, same as
Thing runs forever. It's great, but it's getting to that 10-year mark.
Golly, if that was your main objective,
that's some people's main objective. They're watching this content. They're watching posts on social media, and they're thinking that they're gonna put in $5,000 to a policy, and then they're gonna have access to $400 crap.
Yeah, if the wrong people see this, I'm gonna have to go in witness protection here. So.
No, you're good. People are gonna come to you now because you're telling the truth.
I'm talking about the guys that
I mean, you're gonna steal all their followers.
Geez. Yeah.
They're all going to come to
Yeah.
Steve now because you're telling the truth and you're telling it how it is, not
it's not always.
these bogus fairy tales.
Well, I wouldn't call it bogus fairy tale. Look, there's truth in that. There's a good thing to have cash value and so forth.
But you
the
got
first reason is for life insurance. Man.
Yeah, you realistically, this would be something you would have to be putting into since you were like 10 years old for it to make sense.
Look far enough at it. Yeah, if you look into the future, you say, I'm going to have this, guys, woman's 35 years old and I'm going to work at least 30 years. I got kids, I got a house, I take out a big policy, I got an income. Yeah, if that makes perfect sense to take out cash value life insurance because way down the road, guess what? You don't realize it, but when you're 65 years old, there's still a need for life insurance.
Yeah.
I remember one guy I ever met who was over age 70 who cashed in his life insurance. And that's simply because he didn't have any children. Unfortunately, his wife passed away. He was very wealthy. His nephews, nieces, they all be cared for. But if you look at a couple that are in their 60s, 70s, 80s retired, there's a great economic loss when one of them passes away. Just simply Social Security benefits. One of them will lose the Social Security benefits. Taxes. The tax laws are changing, and they're not changing to make it easier. They're changing for the worse, where the amount of an estate that can be passed on to heirs is becoming less and less what you could pass on. So one of the best vehicles to take care of that is life insurance. Many people will have an attorney put together a trust. The trust owns the life insurance, so it's not going to be, generally speaking, and I can't give tax advice because I'm not a tax advice guy. But there are advantages. Talk to the trust accountants and attorneys. That is a very good way to do that for tax. So people in who are very wealthy, it's probably safe to say they didn't get wealthy by putting all the money in their life insurance policy, but they're at a point where they need life insurance just for the estate tax aspects of it. Interesting. And again, disclaimer, I'm not giving tax advice. Talk to your tax advisor. I get in big trouble for doing that.
Everything we're saying today is hypothetical.
Well, if it's general knowledge,
if you have real questions,
general knowledge we can talk about.
Absolutely. And we're using Sally as a hypothetical.
Sally, yeah.
If you have any questions, you can put them in the comments section. We can answer them live. Or if you wanted to ask a question not live, Steve, how can people get a hold of you? How can they track you down?
How can they track you? I'm going to be in Costa Rica for the next several years now. Well, I mean, you could Google me, as you can Google everybody. My last name is Wulin, Wulin.
Do we want to, no pressure. Do you want to say your email address?
Oh, yeah. Steve, Steve. Wulin @prudential.com. And my last name has often confused people because when they see it, they think it's Wulin, Chinese. It's not.
My way.
Originally, it was Yugoslavian. Wulin. No, Wulin. I'm sorry, Wulin is Chinese originally.
And it's Steve.Wulin
at prudential.com.
Prudential.com. I hope I spelled that right. My spelling is terrible, but
I'm sure
there you go.
Unless I talk so much that Prudential will say, no, Steve.
Steve.Wulin at Prudential. The only thing I'm not 100% sure is if I spelled Prudential right. Hopefully I did. But Steve.Wulin at nice. My spelling is not my strong suit, I'll tell you.
Came through today.
Thank you.
I'm sweating, man.
Oh yeah. How's everything else besides the life? How's everything else going with you?
Nice, man. Life is good. Grandkids are awesome.
Nice.
That's the reward you get for having been a parent.
Mm-hmm.
Kids are doing good. 3 kids, professional people.
Nice.
I don't know how I got so lucky. I blame my wife.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome. Last chance. If you guys have any questions in the comment section, we can answer them live. We answered all my questions and dispelled the myths that we often see on social media. So don't believe everything you see on social media, because we proved it here today. What else? Anything else going on in the world of life insurance? Any updates?
Well, there's all other kinds of insurance that we handle too, as you know. We're still doing some long-term care insurance.
Mm-hmm.
I do get involved with small group for small businesses. And I still have, from years gone by, still do some auto and home insurance.
Nice.
Not in our networking group,
Mhm.
but that's. I have had clients that have been clients for 40 years.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you, Doug.
Awesome. Absolutely. Thank you for
As
joining.
always, your professional, you and your crew.
Thank you.
And I don't know if
Appreciate
people can't see sitting there, but
There's a lot of stuff going on behind the
Poor
cameras.
Doug, he told us.
Oh yes.
We
Can
call
I
him
fit that in the
Doug
camera?
LeBron Friedman.
Can I fit it in?
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Tore my Achilles playing
Yeah,
basketball.
That hurts me thinking about it.
It was not fun. They sewed the tendon back on the calf. So now I'm in a boot.
Man.
Yeah, imagine if I was in like a caveman times, I wouldn't walk again. I'd be a saber-tooth tiger would have picked me off. Yeah,
so long, Doug.
they'd use me for bait.
So long, yeah.
But yeah, now we modern technology, we're able to sew the ligaments together. So now it's just a process of stretching it out. Right now it's like super thick and swollen.
Yeah.
And if you go behind your heel and you feel it, it's a thin tendon.
You're doing a physical therapy now?
I see the doctor this week, and then I think they set me up with a place to go to physical therapy. But I've just been doing like circles and like as much movement as possible.
Yeah.
And in a week or two, then they'll start really weights and stretching. But lately they got to take this chunky swollen tendon and stretch it out because my foot doesn't get to 90 degrees yet. It's a little bit pointed. They make it a little bit pointed, your toes, so there's less room
for now
for it to collect and
heal.
heal.
And probably put another boot on it.
Really so I have wedges.
Back, right?
I have wedges in my boot.
Yeah.
So I got like 4 wedges. Last time I went to the doctor, they took one of the wedges out. So I'm just getting closer and closer to like 90 degrees because when my foot is pointed, it's the tendons are closer together. And as I get closer to 90 degrees, they're more stretched out.
Oh yeah. So, stretching is such a.
Yeah, I hate stretching, and that's why it happened probably in the first place. That's why I'm here in the first place. If I stretched, I probably wouldn't have torn it.
When are you my age? I mean, you got to stretch.
And I didn't listen to my body. So here's a tip: listen to your body. Your body talks to you. So 2 weeks beforehand, before this even happened, I was waking up in the morning, and that area was like stiff and tight every morning. And if I listened to my body and stretched it out a little bit, I might not be in this situation, but I didn't. And I just kept trucking along.
It's true, but I know sometimes my body lies.
Yeah.
You don't have to go out and run. You're good. It may rain. Don't do it. So
stuff. So yeah. So we're just healing, and I'll probably have this boot on for a couple months. But once I start walking with the boot, I don't care if I got a boot on. Who cares? I'll truck through it. But
back in the court.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Adrian wants me playing basketball ever again.
You'll be a little apprehensive.
Right. Be good. Well, Steve, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for giving us so much great quality information, and it just attests to the group that we have at LeTip and how we're able to help each other. Right? We're able to help each other and provide great info.
Anybody with a business, they want to grow the business, join. I mean, you could join a networking group like ours, but we got the best. Everybody's so giving, and it's just Wednesday mornings. We got 50, 60 people there, all different occupations. We got the dentist, we got the rug guy, we got architect, we got accountant, CPA. I mean, it's like you took a net and randomly brought in a bunch of people didn't know, but it just works so well. If the world was like that, there'd never be any wars.
Absolutely. And you can always tell someone, hey, you got a guy for this? I got a guy for this. Or a gal. I know somebody who can help you out. And that's what's so great. We're all here, a common goal, help each other's businesses and do the right thing. Absolutely. So thank you, Steve, for joining us. And we'll see you next time on LeTip. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Yeah. I'll see you guys next time on LeTip Live.
And the jewelry woman's going to be
there tomorrow. Nice.
All righty.